Hello, friends. Happy holidays and welcome to Activate and Thrive. During the holiday season, we're a little bit decked out more than usual this time, just to have a little bit of fun. We're so glad you're joining us today. We run these Thriving Thursday chats every week at noon East Coast time here on our Facebook page, Activate and Thrive. And then we also share them on our YouTube channel, Activate and Thrive Health and Wellness. So whether you're catching it here live, here later on, or on YouTube, welcome. We're so glad to have you with us today. My name's Dawn.
And I'm Mia, and he made me wear this hat. And our guest today is Marilee Maricich, and Marilee is in Anacortes, Washington, in the beautiful San Juan Islands. She lives there with her hometown sweetheart and husband of 30 years, Shawn. And Marilee enjoys hiking, photography, travel, family, friends, and spending time with her larger-than-life Great Danes. And she has a background in traditional business ownership, and she was officially introduced to the global wellness business we're all involved in, and is a bright light for this work. So she just has such a passion for helping others to see the greatness that lies within them and to be the best that they truly can be. And this subject today, finding joy during the holidays, Marilee has her own personal story to share with you and how she's been able to find joy when there have been significant challenges. And I'm sure a lot of you watching have had challenges as well. But I just want to welcome her and just ask her if she'll just start off a little bit, just sharing her story and why this subject in particular, Marilee, is close to your heart.
Oh, Mia and Dawn, it's just an honor to be here. And, Mia, when you reached out, I really just felt in my heart that this is a topic some people need to hear. And how do you find that joy? And honestly, I was talking to my husband last night about, so many different things in and around the holidays. And I think so many of us, maybe you have a favorite Christmas movie, Christmas carols, things that you think of. And I think a lot of times we feel that pressure to maybe fit into the mold of what Christmas should be as an ideal, like that perfect Christmas. I mean, would you guys agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a fabulous point.
We have our traditions.
Yeah,
Really
exactly,
good point. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think that, that kind of sets the standard that people feel like they need to fit in. And then you compare every holiday against that perfect ideal, and that's where we can get kind of trapped.
Yeah.
But that being said, part of my story and journey, I literally can tell you that even as a kid, even as a baby, I was sharing this earlier. My aunt commented to me one time. She said, "Marilee, when you were a baby, when you woke up from naps or you slept during the night, every time you woke up, you just had this smile on your face." And certainly that is kind of in my DNA. By nature, I am a very joyful person, very optimistic person. And, I've loved life. I love life. And, kind of along my journey, part of my story, even before I'll share my most current situation, is that in my 20s, I actually could tell you I found myself at a place where I had just crashed emotionally. And even though having that optimistic part of me, I struggled with anxiety. I struggled with fighting depression on and off, still that optimistic thread underneath me. But I hit a really low point during my 20s. And it was really during that time that I learned a lot about myself. I found myself in a counselor's office. I actually had not been eating well, sleeping well, all of these things. And I found myself with discovering the importance of all the things that kind of keep us balanced, even mentally and emotionally. And it all ties into what we'll talk about a little bit today. And, I think that that was really where I had an aha moment of just overall wellness and well-being. Is it becomes a state of mind, but there's so many things on the outside that can affect those things. So along life's journey, as we shared, married to a wonderful man. He is my soulmate. We don't have children, We grew up in these great big families and always celebrating the holidays, celebrating Christmas, and having these wonderful, wonderful times. But this last December, not this year, last December, this time last year, my dad, who I was so close to, was battling COVID in the hospital. And it was such an isolating time for him. He was alone. We were 1,500 miles away, and we were on the phone as advocates trying to help him through this situation. And sadly, we lost my dad on the 28th of December. And
So very sorry.
oh, thank you. But I'll tell you, all year long, I have wondered, what is December going to be like? December, traditionally through our entire life growing up, has been a very happy time, a very joyful time, a time to celebrate, a time for family. And, I've heard so many stories about, boy, those anniversary times, those anniversary seasons can just be a difficult time, and more of a negative thing. And I came into the holiday season this year, starting in Thanksgiving, deciding that because holidays have been such a joyful time, and if my dad could say anything to me, I know he would tell me, you are in the land of the living, and it is time to just enjoy and drink life in. And that is absolutely how he lived his life. And so we made a decision that even for Thanksgiving, all during this holiday season, we were going to deck the house out, and we were going to just do all the things to celebrate life and celebrate his memory and celebrate all the good things. And so it has been a mindfulness for me to do. And I can tell you, here we are, the 23rd of December, and it has been a joyful season. There are certainly times that there are songs that will play. There's memories that will pop up just of the holidays. Even when I was decorating the tree, there's ornaments that my dad gave me, or, things that remind us of that. And instead of being in a place where it brings me down, and gets to the point where now I'm depressed and sad about it, I try to cherish those memories. And so it's been a mindful practice that I've had during this season. And I am so grateful that I've had the mindset to do that, because it is helping me to celebrate that season. And certainly, I miss my dad so much, but I'm honoring his memory that way and just trying to celebrate the things that he loved so much, which was family and holidays and Christmas and togetherness. And so, it's interesting. I'm just sharing that I'm walking it out in real life, and finding that I can find joy in the holidays. I absolutely can.
Have you found that sense of doing what your dad would want you to do has helped you feel closer to him during this time?
Absolutely. That's a really good point. It absolutely has. It instead of just separating the memory and feeling like, oh, ugh, it's the holidays and this was a bad time of year last year, I'm going to pull the covers over my head. It absolutely does exactly that. It makes me feel that connection. It makes me, it's very comforting to my heart. And so in that, I'm finding a lot of comfort, just wrapped in a lot of comfort this year. And that nostalgia has been just a piece that I've been holding on to. And I'm finding joy in that.
Well,
That is beautiful. Many people practice gratitude as a self or a gateway to self-care, right? And gratitude is a big part of it. And that appreciation and cherishing those memories that you shared together, we know that's what our loved ones would want. We both have lost both of our parents, and, they would want us to be happy. They would want us to be living life, and making the most of it, and, not giving way to those negative thought spirals that want to pull us down. So thank you for sharing that aspect of things.
I just really appreciated the point that you made earlier at the beginning about we feel the pressure that the holidays have to mean a certain thing, a certain kind of celebration. And I really wanted to pick up on that point again, because it's a great one. Perhaps if we would just let it be what it's unfolding to us to be now and not feel like it has to look a certain way. Of course, we're not a good example of that right now, looking a certain way, but so it doesn't have to look like this. It can still be a time of finding yourself. And I also wanted to ask, on the subject of all the trappings that we have around us, whether it's a Christmas tree or a menorah if you're Jewish, or whatever trappings there are, and like for people who celebrate Christmas, the Christmas carols and all that, you can hear all that, you can see all that, and then when you're in your private moments, you can feel very empty, and maybe even more empty for having all the stuff around you, and for whatever personal reasons, you're just feeling that. And that can happen at the holidays, especially, of course. It can just magnify the sadness we feel during the year. So can you talk to us a little bit about that hollow feeling after all the trappings that, we're in our private space and the trappings are gone?
Yeah, I think it's that comparison thing that we do. I think that it's just that expectation that wow, if a movie says this or a carol says that, or the rest of the world feels it's the most wonderful time of the year, maybe I'm not feeling so wonderful. And I think, even social media, if you get on social media and people are posting all the pictures of their families and their things, and you're feeling maybe isolated. This is a different time and season than any of us have ever lived through. I think there's so much of people feeling isolated. Whether you can't be around family for various reasons, or you can't travel like you used to, and you're finding yourself in those moments. I think it's just going within and what are the things that are meaningful to you. I remember this, Dawn, when I really hit the floor of depression back in my 20s, and I was learning a lot about myself. One of the things that helped me through that is to not look so inward, but to look outward, and realizing that there were so many people around me with so many needs. I actually started volunteering locally in our local area, and I started to reach outside of myself and even extend a hand to other people that maybe were feeling the same way that I was, or even in grief groups, there's support groups, there's things that you can do where you can connect with people, but getting outside of yourself and helping so many people. And I think this year I have been more aware of so many needs around us. I mean, wouldn't you agree? When even you're looking, social media is a great place to see it. If you're feeling like you're at home and you're not out traveling and you're seeing the needs, there's so many people that feel alone, or there's so many people that maybe are lacking a little of something we maybe have that we can give. And honestly, in that, for some, it might be a phone call. It might just be letting someone know, you know what, you mean something to me. And I just wanted to reach out, wish you a happy holidays. Just let you know you're on my heart. And it's amazing what that does inside when we we can get in that isolation piece where we feel so alone, feel like we're kind of trapped, and you get down this downward spiral. I think the fastest way for me to get out of that is to think outside of myself and look to others and realize, one, you're not alone. There's many people that may feel that same feeling that we're feeling, but to reach out and give a helping hand, even if you have nothing monetarily to give or share, even just by supporting and caring for others and being a voice to share, it's amazing how uplifting that is for you.
So it's really what you made me think of when you were talking about that is the concept of selfishness. Now, in a sense, gee, thanks a lot. I don't want to hear about my selfishness. I'm already struggling with joy. But when you think of getting out of yourself and reaching out to someone else, that is an unselfish act. And so the reverse of that is if I'm sitting in my little shell here, my little sad shell, perhaps there's a little bit of selfishness involved. And I mean, it's helping me, frankly, think about that right now. And if we can reach out to someone and show that unselfish love, it's got to have an impact on our joy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being a light to others. It's just, it's a very rewarding thing for you and them, for sure.
Well, absolutely. And that light is a big factor at this time of year, because that's what we want to be. We want to be that, if you will, Christ light. I mean, for us, that's what it is. And, but that light of truth, that beam that helps others get beyond. And this time of year is also a very difficult time of year, don't you think, with the winter months and, there's the days are shorter and we don't maybe some of us get to get out as much, when you live in the warmer climates, it might be a little easier, but what would you say about that? Do you think that contributes to anxiety and stress that people may be experiencing?
Absolutely. In fact, I think one of the things that I've learned about myself, and part of the reason I get passionate about, just nutrition and well-being is just, my own journey of discovering, well, when I was in my 20s, my nutrition was so off, my sleep was so off. And I'll just divulge my age. I'm 52. So we went through that time in life where it was the fat-free craze, high carbohydrate, no fats, no healthy fats. Well, so many things that can affect us. I mean, we think about just situational stuff that can make us sad or happy, but there's so many things that we can do naturally to just help our bodies help itself. And it helps us emotionally and mentally. So one of the things that I think can be common, I can get caught in this. We're surrounded by sweets and treats and goodies, and we can get so thrown off on our nutrition where now you're tanking up on lots of sugars, things that you don't maybe normally eat. It throws our sleep patterns off, all of those things. I mean, sometimes it's dialing in those fine things that can really make us feel in a down state. But if you are aware of that, so one of the things, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and it's beautiful here, but we don't get as much sunshine. So one of the things that I know myself can deal with is seasonal affective disorder. So SAD, and SAD actually can really be one of those things that you are lacking in vitamin D. So for myself, and I discovered this with the help of a nutritionist about 15 years ago, is that if I up my levels of vitamin D3 during the winter seasons, it makes a huge difference for me. And so that, for me can mean a lot of things. So I know I need to take enough vitamin D3, and that right there, it can be a game changer for so many people. And it was for me, that was a really big, important thing. But when I'm feeling better, I'm going to sleep better. I don't feel so anxious. I don't feel all those things. But another thing too, that I've really taken on as a practice is just making sure that I exercise. I do something every day. And even during the holiday season, I'm trying to be very mindful. I take very first thing when I get up in the morning, and I try to make this a life practice, not just during the holidays, not just during this season, but a life practice is that waking up in the morning, one of the first things I'll do is I'll have a big glass of lemon water. I'll do like 22 ounces of lemon water. You guys do too. I love that.
Every morning.
It's great. It's just some of those simple things just to kind of get your system going, your liver's in check, all of that stuff. Your body's got a nice little flush going. And then I go right into I like to work out at home. So I'll do like a meditation yoga practice. It's kind of a combination of Pilates. I do foam rolling. I have a rebounder at home, which is like a mini trampoline. It's wonderful for helping to support the lymphatic system. So learning all of these little tools that can be wonderful. And we live at the beach, blessed enough to live at the beach. And so I make sure we get out and I am touching the earth. I'm breathing that fresh air every day. And it's just, again, that mindfulness of the blessings that are all around us. It's the trees, it's the birds, it's listening to the waves on the sand. It's, just breathing that fresh air in and being mindful that I am grateful I am here today. I'm alive. I can take a breath. But, getting moving and getting your blood flowing and having those healthy things that help you just escape all the trappings of things that our mind's doing all day long, to just have those moments of slowing down enough to be mindful. And that has been something that has been extraordinarily helpful for me for a daily basis and a lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, it's a really great point, especially when you mentioned nutrition. It's like how maybe people are thinking about that when they're sad during the holidays. But what if you're a little more careful about what you're eating. When you turn to sugar, when you turn to comfort food, it's only going to be temporary. And if you can change your eating habits to what you know is more healthy and better, it's got to create better feelings, not to mention what you said about exercising and moving. So but coming back to our selfishness theme, I think it sounds like you have to be a little selfish first. Take care of yourself so that you can have more chance of being selfless with others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes back to that concept, you can't pour from an empty glass. If you have to fill your tank, you've got to constantly be doing that so that you can give out. And I think sometimes I've found myself at this stage, probably most of us have at times, where you just feel so frazzled and scattered and like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm giving. And, maybe you're that person that you've got, you're a young mom and you've got littles all around you and you're shopping and you're doing all the things, you're cooking and you're trying to be, make this perfect holiday. You still have to have those moments where you pour back in. You have to have those mindful moments so that you have a source to pour from, right? So
Yeah.
I think in, wherever you are in life, and I believe this, that at any point, my mom is 79 years old and still doing very well. And she practices these things, just to take that mindfulness, starts the day out, just pouring into her before she gives out. And she actually still is a caregiver, loves to pour out to people. She just loves it. It fuels her. But before she gives out to others, she's always pouring in the morning. So I think at whatever age we are in life, it's just a practice, that mindfulness of being aware. If you're feeling like you are running empty, maybe it's time to just do a little recharge and maybe make that a life practice, because I think it's just helpful for us on a daily basis.
Yeah, that pausing just, it actually rewires our brain so that we're not in that reactive mode, right?
Yeah.
That we react to stress and uncertainty differently when we're not caring for ourselves first.
And also another thing to pick up on that you said, in very, very briefly in passing, you said that not just during the holidays, but during the year, practicing these things. And I would imagine we can have a heads up right now during this holiday season. If we're feeling a lack of joy, let me tend to this during the year. Let me build habits of gratitude and nutrition and exercise and being unselfish, because it's not supposed to be any different the rest of the year than it's supposed to be at Christmas. So if we're looking for Christmas, for the holidays, I should say, to be some amazing, salvation from all our troubles, well, we create our own salvation kind of thing, right?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah. And that's more of a comment, but the question I have next is, right now, especially with the news recently about Omicron, and everybody's being recommended to cancel holiday plans, to be careful, stay sheltered with those who you live with, and blah, 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 all this stuff. So I, in my travels, not travels literally, but seeing people lately, I'm hearing about people saying, oh gosh, I've had to cancel this or that. So what would you have to say to those who are suddenly now finding out that, to be prudent, they're going to have to cancel their travel? I know one family who was going to go to Disney World for the holidays, and their little 8-year-old son told me so sad that they weren't going to be doing that now, and so, yeah.
I even during this whole lockdown, I know for my husband's 55th birthday, we couldn't have this big party. I had planned having this great big party and family and gatherings and celebration and festivities. And, where we live, it's been pretty restricted. I mean, some states are different than others, countries are different than others, but how could I shift? How could I make that shift? So it's, the situation is what it is, but we planned a big surprise Zoom party. Everyone wore party hats. Everybody got on. I had everyone pull a favorite story and a memory. And we just made the best of it. And at the end of the day, he said, thank you for taking the time to actually see people that maybe couldn't have been at a physical party. They were across. We had a friend in Ecuador that jumped on, and, we just made the best of it. And, I think even that, like, back to that Thanksgiving, when we found ourselves at home, like, what are we going to do? Like, oh my gosh, we don't want to sit here and have a pity party. We started a new tradition. Like, well, this is us. We don't have kids. This is our life. So we picked a favorite place that was local by car that we could travel to, Cannon Beach, Oregon. And we went down and started a tradition. Like, okay, well, we're going to go to the coast and we're going to start our own tradition. And we're going to just, let's make this shift, but let's make it fun. Whatever it is, we have one life to live. We're going to make and create memories that we will cherish no matter what. And I think back at my grandfather, my grandparents all lived, as maybe yours as well, through the Great Depression. And I think about the stories that they would share. So my grandpa, there was a Christmas that he shared. They were so poor. They had nothing. They couldn't travel anywhere. Family all around them. People were just pretty locked in a sadder state. But he said, we had so much joy. We stayed home. We baked. We absolutely made the best of it. We had every gift that was given was homemade. We didn't have the money to make it, but he said, in all of my days, and as life went on and my grandparents had their own, world and success, they had all the things, the trappings, the joy, the glitter, the glitz, all of that. But wasn't it funny that my grandpa could say his favorite holidays and memories were the ones where it was the most humble, because it was the little things. It was the moments they cherished together. It was that getting creative and coming in and thinking about, like, for them, as it is for me, like, what is the true reason for the season? Focusing on that and finding the joy in that. And that, at the end of everything, it really is the little things that are the most important, right? It's not
Absolutely.
not always
Yes.
the big things.
So make it happen. You can still make it happen
Yes,
somehow. It
absolutely.
may not look like what you thought it would,
Yep.
but don't give up your joy. Don't give up the hope of good times. You
Yes,
can make it happen. It's in your hands. There's no external circumstance that can inherently take away your joy. It's up
that's
to you,
right.
right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. Yes.
And, just thinking about, what if this was the last day that I
Yep.
was going to be here?
Yes.
Because it's so easy sometimes to go to that place of where something's not right, or where something hurts you or disappoints you, or, but what if this was it?
That's right. That's right. It's that living each day like it's our last. It's just realizing, I'm going to drink life in. I'm going to take this moment, whatever it is, and I'm going to make the best of it. Finding joy in every day, finding joy in the holidays, finding, where is that joy? There's a silver lining I've learned in even the hardest things, even in the tragic things. There's still a silver lining. There's still something to learn. There's still life lessons, and there's still joy.
Well, Marilee, this has been beautiful. We never like to wrap these up, but we like to respect people's time. And so it's actually helped me also, not to go into it, but there are reasons we could feel a little bit sad and lonely during the holidays without family with us. So you've actually helped me personally during this time. And we hope that many other people who might watch this. So it's just been such a joy to have you on today.
Is there any final
thing
remark you would like to
to
leave with our audience? You've shared such wonderful nuggets for everybody to.
I would just encourage you to just truly dig deep, find that joy. And I promise it's there. And I literally just wishing everyone the merriest Christmas. Make it the best. Wherever this finds you, find that joy. It's worth it.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks to our audience for watching today, whether live or later on. We're really grateful you joined us. And we will not be running a Thriving Thursday next Thursday, as we just enjoy a week off between Christmas and New Year's. But look for us again the beginning of January. We do these each week at noon on Thursdays, East Coast US time. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays to everybody. And Marilee, once again,
thank you so much. What a gift.
Yes,
You're so welcome. Happy holidays.
Thank you to you too. Bye. Mwah.